welcome to this episode of What's Happening at NCI. I'm your host, Olivia Garrett, and today we're excited to have a special guest with us, Dr. Susheela Shanta. Dr. Shanta is the Chief Academic Officer at New College Institute. She has been instrumental in shaping our academic programs and ensuring that NCI remains at the forefront of education in our community. Dr. Shanta, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Before we dive into today's topic, we'd love to let our viewers know a little bit more about you and your background. So can you share a little bit with us about your journey and how you came to be a part of New College Institute?
Well, it's been a diverse journey with many turning points, but I grew up in India. I did my undergraduate education there in civil and structural engineering, and then I came to graduate school in the US and studied urban infrastructure planning, and that led to working in a few cities in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and Harrisburg. And I engaged in city planning and infrastructure planning in the Department of Building and Housing in Harrisburg. When we moved to Virginia about 3-4 years after moving to Pennsylvania, I came with my family here and started thinking about other ways of contributing to community development and community service, which has always been my interest. And so I started working with nonprofit organizations, helping create their capacity and be able to provide assets to them in their communities. And so I invested myself in doing community development, which actually was infrastructure development. So I created affordable housing with the help of the board members of the nonprofits, and helped rehab historic properties to put new uses in them. And I used private investment sources to make that happen. So it was no public funding for creating assets in disenfranchised communities and helping the underserved populations.
Oh, wow.
I had my own consulting business at that time, so I did that for a while. And about 15 years or so after I started doing all this, I decided to change my direction a little bit and went into teaching. So I started teaching in a public school in Virginia and decided that students need more integrative education, which includes science, technology, engineering, and math. You know, we've always focused on literacy in terms of reading, writing, but the same literacy needs to be there in STEM education. So I worked with the school system, and we created a 4-year pre-engineering program for students. Of course, we ended up becoming a magnet program, and then we were designated the Governor's STEM Academy as well. And I ran that program and taught there 9th and 12th grade students in engineering and math. During that time period, I also achieved my doctorate degree in STEM education.
Oh, wow.
And about 14 years of doing that and having a nice functioning organization, I also remembered that the original idea was to bring STEM education for all, which I wasn't doing. It was more of a gifted program. And so I started looking at other opportunities, and when the opportunity of working with NCI came about, it was perfect for me. So I started working here, and I've been here now 2.5 years.
Well, that's awesome. We are very glad to have you on our team, and you've had such a remarkable and interesting and vibrant journey throughout your career. After our commercial break, we'll talk a little bit more about an upcoming event that you're planning on October 17th, a cyber awareness program for seniors. But can you tell us a little bit about some other initiatives you're working on?
Sure. NCI is committed to creating access to resources for education and workforce development in this region, which includes several counties that surround Martinsville and the city. One such program is the EduTech Lending Library, which, although saying lending library is redundant, it's a library of technological resources that we lend to educational entities, which include all the school districts in the region. And this library provides educators access to technologies for their classrooms, as well as professional development on how to incorporate this technology into their lesson planning. I'm uniquely aware, because I was in the classroom, how little time educators have for professional development and to be able to incorporate new things into their lesson planning. And so in providing this library opportunity, we also provide that professional development so they can directly implement it in their classroom. The devices included in this library are, an example is right here. This is the beloved Dash robot that children really like to use.
Yeah, I've seen this rolling around the office.
Yes, and it has fun sounds that it can generate. You can also program it to say different things. And it introduces students to coding at an early age. So this is designed specifically for elementary school students and middle school students to get their first glimpse into robotics and coding.
That's awesome.
And these days, with the need for that knowledge of computer science foundational principles, no matter what field you go into, because everybody is immersed in technology these days, I think this is a great resource for young people to begin to learn block coding first, and then maybe programming languages after that.
Yeah, this seems like a great introduction to coding, and it looks like a fun gadget, so I'm sure the students will love it. So if a teacher or a school is interested in the EduTech library, what's the next step? They email you, or?
They can email me directly, or they can visit the NCI webpage and find these resources available to them. My email address is also on the NCI website, and they can directly contact me through that. And I will make arrangements. I will come out and bring the technology to them, or the teachers can come to us. When we have enough teachers gathered, we provide the professional development as well. It is all free. We also have other devices available, such as the microbits and the iBlocks. The microbits are actually little programmable electronic, it's a small platform that I'll show later. That also is a coding platform. So students can interact online to a website that has the software built into it and do block coding or code in JavaScript or Python, and then download their code onto the microbit device, and that does what you ask it to do. So it can be embedded in, sometimes you see these flashing signs and things like that. That is exactly what microbits do, is embed that technology into whatever we use it.
Well, that's very interesting. And these are great resources for both teachers and students. And as Dr. Shanta said, you can visit newcollegeinstitute.org to learn more information about how teachers and schools can check out from our library. So thank you for your work in this area, Dr. Shanta. We are going to take a quick break for a commercial, and when we come back, we'll discuss our upcoming event, Cyber Awareness Program for Seniors. Hi, I'm Olivia Garrett, host of What's Happening at NCI. Today we have a special guest with us, Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Susheela Shanta. We're going to go ahead and jump into the main topic of today, which is the Cyber Awareness Program for Seniors, or CAPS, as we like to call it at NCI. It's going to take place on October 17th. Dr. Shanta, can you tell us a little bit more about the importance of this program and what seniors can expect to learn?
Yes, of course. The CAPS program is designed to equip senior citizens with the knowledge and tools that they need to protect themselves from cyber scams, which unfortunately targets this vulnerable population more and more every day. We'll cover everything from identifying common scams, understanding how to avoid them, and most importantly, what steps to take if someone falls victim to these scams.
That sounds like a very valuable resource. Can you give us a little sneak peek into some of the topics that'll be covered?
Sure. We'll be focusing on phishing scams, fraudulent emails, and how to recognize suspicious online behavior. We've partnered with local banks, including Valley Star Credit Union and Carter Bank and Trust, as well as nonprofits like Just Call Granny, Southern Virginia Agency on Aging, West Piedmont Community Services, and law enforcement agencies to provide expert guidance. Participants will leave with actionable steps and strategies to safeguard themselves and try to avoid their getting scammed.
Well, it sounds like you got a great lineup of experts who will be able to, give some really up-to-date and useful information. That's excellent. How will the event be formatted during the day?
The event will take place from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. On October 17th at NCI in the Martin Lacey Lecture Hall. The main part of the event in the morning will provide 30-minute sessions facilitated by our partners, and lunch will be provided, and our partners will have tables where participants can get additional information and some one-on-one interactions with our partners. And after lunch, we will host a series of breakout sessions, which means that during the 1 hour period between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m., people can pick which breakout session they want to go to.
Okay.
And each of our partners will be hosting their topic in the breakout session, and it'll be more intimate and more designed to answer individual questions. Just Call Granny is going to host a session on accessing school learning management systems.
Oh, wow. And now, tell me a little bit more about Just Call Granny. They're a newer organization in the community, right?
Yes, they are, and they're a group of committed senior citizens who meet and provide access to seniors for referrals on a variety of topics that interest them and answers to questions. For example, ones we look to from experienced family members sometimes, and to help answer. And they're a support system for the community, really. This includes their grand families, and that's a term where grandparents are responsible for their grandchildren for a variety of reasons, and other young family members. So NCI provides them space to host what's known as the Coffee and Conversation series that they have once every month. And during that time, they listen to concerns, they help people, and they bring in wonderful coffee for the conversation.
Yeah, that always helps.
And they partner with us in a variety of ways, such as at the CAPS event.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it sounds like, with Just Call Granny, they're focusing on grandparents and how they can help their grandchildren get through school. That'll be a great resource. And then it seems like Valley Star and Carter Bank's going to focus more on the financial aspect.
Absolutely.
And then will there be a social media component as well?
Yes, I'm sure. I believe we've invited the media, and there will be conversations also about how to avoid getting scammed by social media, as well as a variety of other sources. We're always, when we're browsing websites, we have a lot of things flashing at us, it's very hard to resist checking out something that seems legitimate on the surface. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I know even somebody with strong, internet literacy can fall, vulnerable to a scam, especially on Facebook when someone duplicates an account and you could swear you're already friends with them. That's how they get you.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, thank you, Dr. Shanta. So as a reminder, CAPS will take place at NCI's Baldwin Building. It's in Uptown Martinsville on Thursday, October 17th. That's coming up next week. It's going to start 9:30 a.m. and to register, you can visit our website. It's again newcollegeinstitute.org and click on events, and that's where you can register. Events is right there at the top of the page, and you can also call NCI at 276-403-5671 to register as well. And don't forget, this is a free event, and I should also note that if you've never been to NCI's Baldwin building before, we do have a large parking lot right off of Moss Street, and it has a ramp, so that makes entering the building accessible for everyone. Okay, we are going to take another commercial break, and when we're back, we'll look at some exciting events that are coming up at NCI in the coming weeks. Welcome back. I'm Olivia, host of What's Happening at NCI. Before we cut to commercial break, Dr. Shanta and I were talking about the Cyber Awareness Program for seniors, CAPS, that's coming up on October 17th. 2 points I wanted to make on that. If you are interested in attending but have issues with transportation, please give us a call. It's 276-403-5671. And when you're registering, if you just mention that you need transportation, we have arrangements that can be made to make it convenient for you to get to the event. And also just to note that it is very important to register because that also includes your lunch. And I believe Third Bay is going to do lunch this year, and they always have a great lunch, so make sure you register in advance. So before we wrap up, we wanted to talk about some of the exciting upcoming events that we're having at NCI. So Dr. Shanta, can you share a little bit more about what's coming up?
A lot of exciting things happening. Alongside CAPS, that is going to happen on October 17th, we have a big week at NCI next week with some field trips and field trips for the schools, and teacher professional development with Martinsville and Henry County Schools.
Oh, great.
And several workshops for science teachers and math teachers that are ongoing. Aside from that, I also want to talk a little bit about the STEMbot, which we have professional development coming up next week.
Good.
Also something that is useful for the teachers in our community. The STEMbot is actually just a glorified farm bot. It means that people who are involved in farming in the community now are, in many instances, are using technology to help them with farming. And so robots are involved in that too. Of course, it doesn't look anything like this. This is a platform that is created on a bed, and it has rails, and there are robotic arms that move the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. So it's a very spatial entity. And it can help monitor moisture, fertilizing. It can help provide a variety of things that farmers typically need. Well, that is a technology that's currently being used by farmers, and it's a great avenue for students to learn about science, technology, engineering, and math.
Absolutely.
So it's called the STEMbot, and Virginia Tech first introduced it to us, and we purchased the technology, a platform from them, and we have curriculum associated with that.
Oh, great.
And so teachers get the professional development where they get the curriculum associated with that as well, and they can introduce it in their middle school classrooms for not just for agricultural science, but students that are studying geometry, for instance, can see what the XYZ axis and how things move and measuring units and things like that. Math students learn about calculations in 3D space. And students who are engaged in robotics and computer science, well, they have a coding platform as well. So agricultural science, along with a variety of different disciplines.
Yeah.
And aside from that, it is a free resource for teachers to use once they have been trained. There is a charge for the training, but it's a week long, and we design it so it fits into their schedule.
Oh, that's great.
And there is a session that's ongoing right now, so if there are any school systems or teachers out there that would like this training, please call us, and we will see how we can make that work for you. And then students have access to it semester long for the teachers that have
that's
been
great.
trained. We will host the field trips, we'll provide the space and help you engage in hands-on learning.
Excellent, excellent.
We also have, if we have time, I can talk about
sure.
KidWind.
Yeah,
Well,
please do.
that's another exciting program coming up. NCI has never actually done KidWind programs. And it ties in directly with GWO, which is another
Yes.
big program
Yes,
that
our wind
NCI
industry
is,
training.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I know you talked about that last time.
We did, yeah.
So this is a KidWind is a national challenge that has been developed. Every state hosts several regional competitions that then get you to the state level and then go on to nationals if you win.
Oh, wow.
So it sort of follows along the lines of FIRST Robotics, which has been there much
Okay.
longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So teams of students learn about wind energy and the science and climate and things like that, and they build devices to harness wind energy to create electricity. So it's a very interesting challenge. Students have the opportunity to collaborate. So it's giving you the 5 C's of the 21st century learning.
Oh.
Critical thinking, collaboration are some of the few.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they get to learn science and do hands-on experiments, gather data, figure out how to use technological tools that help us measure, and then be able to construct devices that produce the maximum energy. And so the challenge is to see whose device produces more electricity than anyone else's.
Very cool.
So it's a wonderful challenge. Students get to collaborate, and the spirit of collaboration is very high. So it's not just small groups of students, but entire teams across regions. So they collaborate with others.
Wow.
It's a wonderful
Yeah.
opportunity. So we're hosting it for elementary school students and middle school students.
Okay.
It's a free program. We have
Oh,
a
good.
coach
Free.
who is very experienced. Yes, key. And it runs from 4 to 6 on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay.
Again, we need registrations in order to be able to host the students.
Yeah.
But it's still free. And parents are welcome to join them because it's a family-oriented activity.
Yeah. Well, if you're interested in joining KidWind this semester for elementary and middle school students, visit our website, newcollegeinstitute.org, to learn more information. This is the field of wind industry is a fast emerging field, so it's a relevant topic, and sort of being in a team environment definitely fosters those leadership and communication skills, so that makes for a well-rounded after-school experience. Just a few more things before we close. To our viewers, just please be sure to mark your calendar for October 17th for the Cyber Awareness Program for seniors. Please register it in advance, either by visiting our website or calling us. We have a number of great events going on at NCI. Just this morning, the Harvest Foundation had their community summit. It was focused on early childhood education. Our parking lot was packed. Could hardly find a parking spot. So be sure to visit our website to learn about all the different events coming up at NCI. And Dr. Shanta, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great to learn about CAPS and to learn about the EduTech Library, KidWin, the STEMBot. We've got a lot going on in the academic department at NCI.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and it's wonderful to be able to boast about all the wonderful opportunities
it's
for our young
exciting.
people in the community.
And thank you to our audience for tuning in to our latest episode of What's Happening at NCI. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you at NCI.